Hey folks, I'm Alex Story with Skill Mammoth Digital, and this is day 18 of me building my agency in public. If you're new here, I do this every single day out loud in public. I just answer some questions about my business, show you the good, the bad, the ugly, and use it as a personal accountability place for me to make sure that I have a track record and I get pressure to keep on performing well. But also, hopefully, you guys can learn something from it too. We ask and answer these four questions. The first question is around revenue. How much did I make in the last 30 days? The second question is around sales. What am I doing to get more revenue? The third question is around fulfillment. What am I doing to keep my revenue by doing the tasks that people paid me to do? And then lastly, what am I doing strategically for my company? What am I doing to fix it inside? So same four questions every single day. Feel free to follow along if you want to. Revenue wise, $41,640. I did get a proposal out that is likely to close, like 99% likely to close, of $299 per month for MRR. They just said they have to wait till their partner's back in office next week. So I think that'll work fine. And my MRR will slowly continue to go up, which is great, right? That's the number that I want climbing. My goal is 18K MRR by November 1st. Right now it's closer to 15K if a client that I believe is going to churn doesn't churn, but they are already talking to another marketing agency, so it is what it is. What am I doing to get more? So did a lot of mid-funnel follow-up today. Like I said, got some proposal views. One customer did not buy. They keep on looking for the proposal, and it's maddening. It's the same one that I talked about before. But I want to do something. I got to figure out what to do when that happens. I could just add value. I could literally just spin up like a demo of their website and say, hey, look what we did. If you want, we could build the full thing if you accept the proposal. That wouldn't take me too long, and it'd already be night and day better than what they have. So I think that's what I'll do. But in the future, I think for discovery calls where they're not like ready to buy the moment on that first call, I'll just do a Alex Ramosi tip called Bam Fam, which is book a meeting from a meeting. So I think I'll do that because that'll help me with this like weird situation where I see them viewing the proposal, but nothing's happening and they're not responding to my email to book another meeting. Because that'll give me a chance, another at bat on a call with them if they have questions to close them. Anyway, sales motion, the cold campaign is still cooking. I'm pleasantly, not surprised, but I'm excited for where it's going. I'd love the numbers to be a little bit higher. We got 3 positive replies today, which is pretty good. We're averaging up to 29% positive reply rate with a 1.04% reply rate in general. I'd love that to be higher. I'd love that to get to like 2%. And so, it is what it is. But yeah, interest isn't the problem, right? It's the handoff that's kind of interesting. So I got one client say, "Oh, give me a call," and I called him literally like minutes after, and he didn't pick up. So I just got voicemail. So I'll have to call him back tomorrow and see what happens. One asked for a report too. That's my soft CTA, and then I sent it. They ghosted. I'll just follow up with them tomorrow, right? That's kind of the name of the game. So no meetings booked just yet. I did get one really interesting scenario where, because this is super funny because this has just happened to me last week, where that's the reason why my copy is the way it is. So to give you some context, my current cold email campaign is basically ChatGPT is recommending your competitor and not you, right? And the CTA is, I got the screenshot. Do you want to send it plus a report on what you can do to rank better? And the competitor sent that to my client last week, and then my client sent that to me, and I'm like, whoa, this is really good copy. I'm going to steal the strategy. And what's funny is that exact same thing happened to me today. So this prospect forwarded my email to their SEO person, and that person got a little snarky and emailed me back saying like, hey, you should really look at this before, you send these emails. Cause like, they are ranking in ChatGPT, and I shouldn't have played into it. I should have just been like, you know what? You're right. Keep your client. But I literally, because he replied all, he had his client on it and me and this person. So I just emailed him back with the screenshot saying like, hey, no, this is where you're at. So a little bit of peacocking. I probably should have resisted the temptation. That was probably, and he's a smaller agency than me, right? Looks like he's like a freelancer. He probably has a day job, just doing the cursory research on him. Because I always like to see other successful people. But just due to his website being very poorly ranked and whatnot, he must be doing it like a side hustle. not like a full-time job. Anyway, I don't want to knock somebody, but anyway, that was just a really funny interaction that I had with my cold email campaign. Hoping to get the reply rate up to 2%, hoping to get the positive reply to stay the same, and hoping to start booking meetings. I love for like a 40% book rate. So if I can get like, for every 10 positive replies, if I can get 40% to book a meeting and then 60% of those people to actually show up to the meeting, that'd be fantastic. I would be ecstatic. I think what I need to start doing is just really leveraging multi-channel for these positives too, just to make that higher, right? Anyway, going to the next thing. So, yeah. Oh yeah, for fulfillment. So lots of motion, nothing new done. I had one client just, he hit his report up and he was just asking me question after question after question. And just, I want to keep the client. So I sunk like an hour a day just answering questions for him. They're one-off. But, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. So the work is good, right? He's performing well, probably the highest performing client that I have. But, in his report, it shows like in certain areas nearby, there's a competitor that's ranking higher than him. He's like ranking number 2, they're ranking number 1. And most of that is just the report he's looking at. It's a local search report, like a local search grid. Not, and like all the other like avenues, like just sheer traffic, sheer clicks, sheer like number of keywords ranking, he's beating this competitor. But in this one city, if people search this specific key term, his competitor ranks higher than him, and he's like, what are we doing to improve that? And I'm like, oh my gosh. But so it is what it is. The problem is, I just need to make sure he trusts in the process. I gave him a full report, competitor report, to show him like, hey, what this guy has isn't anything. He bought some shady links. We can, obviously beat that, but whatever. I'm just getting too far into the details. But yeah, I don't want to turn the client. Client's really good, but the vibe I got today was very like unhappy. So I'm kind of sad about that. But even though we're performing really well, and the reality is like the price that I'm giving him is like way too competitive. Like, if he goes anyone else, they'd be charging him probably double or triple what I'm charging him. But anyway, just yapping. All right. So this is the real strategy thing that I'm running into right now, is just this squeeze, right? The fulfillment is taking way too much, not way too much of my time, but probably the adequate amount of time it should be taking to do the work that my clients paid for. But the problem is I need to build my pipeline, and there's only one me. Now I do have, part-time employees that do work for me, but they typically show up in certain stages where I do kind of like the main development work. They'll do like revisions and like some of the busy work. I don't have an operator that can answer a very nuanced question about SEO, for example. I don't have an operator who can, do some custom stuff the way that I would with like, that would know how to speak the design language of like what a bento box is, for example, or like an eyebrow, right? So there's things like that I just need to figure out a way to hopefully productize or systemize with AI, or by leveraging, VAs or something like that. I don't have time to hire. That's the problem. But the other thing is building pipeline, because I'm doing so much work fulfilling and like on meetings and stuff. I don't have a lot of time to do pipeline, right? I've got this cold email campaign going, but I'd love just to start, just doing some cold calls and doing those in-mails with the Loom videos that have worked for me, back in the day. Once again, like my goal is to get to 18K MRR by November 1st. And if I'm not building my pipeline, that's not going to happen. Right now I have 0 like new meetings booked. I've got, my monthly client calls, but I don't got any sales calls booked on my calendar right now, which is not where I want to be. I'd love to have like 5 at least, because then I know at least one of them is going to close. But anyway, something I got to work on and figure out the strategy. I love your tips. I mean, honestly, the short-term answer, just work more, 4 to 4, etc. But yeah, what probably makes me feel like so behind right now is also the fact that I did take Monday a little light because it was my wife's birthday. So I feel like this week is just kicking my ass already. But it probably is just psychology for, letting Monday be light. So anyway, tomorrow I'm kind of happy because I don't have any like offsite meetings. Oh crap. I do have one offsite meetings. I have a local meeting. We'll see how that goes. I might yield a client. But what I'm saying is most of it is at home, which means I can do a lot of heads down work. So I think my goal today is just to be in bed by 10 p.m. so I can easily wake up at 4 a.m., get my caffeine, get my Adderall, and just work. But anyway, longer video today. Hopefully this was somehow useful to anybody who's watching this far. If you like the video, like it. And of course, let me know your thoughts and tips and, what you're doing with your business.